And let me tell you something that'll flip your perspective. Massive success doesn't start with massive action. It starts with a whisper, a spark, a single step. But here's the problem. Most people are either waiting for the perfect moment or thinking way too small to ever begin. You don't need all the answers to get moving. You need momentum. You don't need permission to dream big. You need courage. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to commit. That's why I live by this code. Start small, think big, move fast. Because that's the formula that creates transformation, not just change. That's the mindset that gets you from where you are to where you were born to be. Let's break it down and light it up. The most powerful movements in life often begin with something incredibly small. A decision, a step, a shift in focus. Too many people paralyze themselves waiting for the perfect time to begin. They think they need all the answers, all the resources, the perfect plan before they take action. But that mindset kills more dreams than failure ever will. Starting small isn't a sign of weakness, it's a strategy of strength. How momentum is born. Every massive achievement you see in the world, every game changer, every empire, every breakthrough, it all started with someone doing something small, consistently, and intentionally. When you start small with purposeful action, you're not trying to change everything overnight. You're building a foundation. You're training yourself to become someone who follows through, someone who finishes what they start, someone who makes progress a habit, not a hope. Starting small creates wins, and those small wins begin to stack. Each step you take reinforces the belief that you're capable, that you're growing, that you're moving forward. And belief, once it builds momentum, becomes unstoppable. The truth is, action beats intention every single time. You can have the greatest ideas in the world, but if you never move on them, they die inside of you. Ideas don't create impact. Execution does. And execution begins by showing up and doing what you can with what you have. You might not have all the tools, all the funding, or all the support, but you do have something. And if you're waiting until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Readiness is a myth. What matters is that you begin, and you begin now. There's also something powerful that happens psychologically when you start small. You lower the barrier to entry. You take off the pressure to be perfect. And suddenly, what seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. You take a 5-minute walk instead of trying to run 5 miles. You write 1 paragraph instead of obsessing over the entire book. You have 1 conversation instead of needing to change the whole world overnight. Small steps done daily build habits, habits build character, and character shapes destiny. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. Starting small is about proving to yourself that you can follow through. And once you've proven that, the game changes, because now you've developed a rhythm. You've tasted progress. You've got something to protect, something to build on. And that's where real transformation begins. Not with some explosive leap, but with steady, focused, consistent motion. So when you feel stuck, when the mountain looks too big, when doubt starts whispering in your ear, remember this: the way forward is through the next small step. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because when you start small with purpose, you take control. And once you take control, there's nothing you can't build. Thinking big is not about having unrealistic fantasies. It's about giving yourself permission to break free from the limitations that have been conditioned into you. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they think too small. They shrink their goals to match their current circumstances instead of expanding their thinking to match their true potential. When you think big, you challenge the status quo. You reject the lie that this is just the way it is, and instead ask, what could this become if I went all in? That question alone can change the trajectory of your life. Big thinking is the fuel that ignites action. It's what gives meaning and energy to the small steps you take each day. Without a compelling vision, your daily grind starts to feel like a chore. You lose motivation, you settle for less, and you begin to operate on autopilot. But when you're driven by a powerful vision, something that excites you, stretches you, even scares you, you bring more energy, focus, and urgency to everything you do. You're no longer just existing, you're building. And that shift in mindset changes everything. Thinking big also rewires the way you handle setbacks. When your vision is massive, challenges become part of the process, not reasons to quit. You expect resistance, you anticipate obstacles, but your dream is so big that you keep going anyway. That's the kind of resilience that only comes when you're connected to something greater than your current reality. You stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. The truth is, your mind will always try to protect you from risk, from uncertainty, from the unknown. It will try to keep you comfortable. But growth doesn't live in comfort. Growth lives on the edge. And to reach that edge, you've got to think bigger than your fear, bigger than your excuses, bigger than the environment you were raised in. You've got to tap into a future version of yourself and ask, what would they expect from me right now? Big thinking isn't reserved for the elite. It's available to anyone who's willing to stop settling. It starts with believing that you're meant for more, not from ego, but from purpose. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. And when you adopt that mindset, the game changes. You stop chasing approval and start chasing progress. You stop worrying about how and start focusing on why. And your why, if it's big enough, will pull you through every challenge that tries to stop you. So dream bigger. Set goals that scare you a little and excite you a lot. Surround yourself with people who expand your thinking, not limit it. And most of all, never let small minds convince you that your big vision is too much. Because in the end, you don't rise to the level of your intentions, you rise to the size of your vision. Think big. Always moving fast is a mindset, a commitment to action that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Too many people get stuck in the trap of overthinking, hesitation, and waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth is, the perfect moment rarely arrives. Waiting for clarity or certainty often leads to missed opportunities and lost momentum. Speed is not about recklessness. It's about decisiveness, about choosing to act even when conditions aren't perfect. When you move fast, you create your own clarity through action. Every step forward brings new information, new possibilities, and new energy that propel you further. The power of moving fast lies in momentum. Once you start, the energy builds, making it easier to keep going. Hesitation, on the other hand, breeds doubt and fear. The longer you wait, the louder the voices of uncertainty become. When you commit to moving fast, you break free from the paralysis of analysis and give yourself permission to learn as you go. Speed forces you to make decisions quickly, to pivot when necessary, and to stay agile in a world that's constantly changing. Moving fast also creates urgency, a powerful driver of productivity and focus. When you move fast, you elevate your energy and sharpen your concentration. You eliminate distractions because you know every moment counts. This sense of urgency helps you prioritize what truly matters and discard what doesn't. High achievers understand this and harness it to outpace their competition. They don't wait for perfect conditions, they create them through swift, intentional action. Another critical aspect of moving fast is the ability to embrace failure as feedback rather than defeat. When you move quickly, you inevitably make mistakes. But those mistakes become opportunities to learn and grow. You test ideas in real time, adjust your approach, and keep pushing forward. This cycle of action, feedback, and improvement accelerates your progress exponentially. The faster you move, the faster you learn, and the faster you grow. Moving fast requires courage, the courage to trust yourself and your instincts even when the path isn't clear. It means being willing to take risks and step into the unknown, but this courage is built through repeated action. Each time you choose to move fast, you reinforce your belief in your ability to handle uncertainty. You build confidence that no hesitation can shake. Ultimately, moving fast is about refusing to let fear dictate your pace. It's about choosing to be a creator, not a spectator. You take ownership of your future by acting now, not later. You seize control of your momentum, knowing that speed combined with focused intention is unstoppable. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Start moving fast today, learn quickly, adjust boldly, and watch as your life transforms through the power of action. Clarity is not something that magically appears when you sit and think about your goals. It is something that comes through action. The idea that you need perfect clarity before you start is a misconception that holds many people back. The truth is, clarity is born from movement. When you take a step, any step forward, you begin to understand what works, what doesn't, and where you need to adjust. This process of trial and error sharpens your vision and strengthens your resolve. The more you do, the more you learn about yourself and your path, and the clearer your direction becomes. Confidence is tightly linked to this process. When you act without waiting for permission or perfect conditions, you build trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Each action you take, no matter how small, is proof to yourself that you can move forward, solve problems, and overcome obstacles. This growing confidence fuels further action, creating a powerful cycle of progress. On the other hand, waiting for clarity and confidence before acting often results in stagnation. Doubt grows, fears multiply, and the window of opportunity closes. Taking action also helps break down the overwhelming nature of big goals. When you begin moving, the giant task ahead becomes manageable. It becomes a series of smaller steps that you can tackle one by one. This shift in perspective reduces anxiety and builds momentum. Momentum is critical because it carries you through the tough times when motivation wanes. When you have momentum, you don't have to rely solely on willpower or motivation. The force of your own progress propels you forward. Moreover, taking consistent action puts you in control of your journey. Instead of being at the mercy of circumstances or waiting for external validation, you are actively shaping your future. This sense of control strengthens your mindset because it reinforces that your success depends on what you do, not on luck or perfect timing. It builds resilience and determination because you see firsthand that setbacks are just part of the process, not the end of the road. The process of learning through action also helps you develop wisdom. You begin to see patterns, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and gain insights that no amount of planning or theorizing could provide. This wisdom allows you to make smarter decisions, avoid repeating mistakes, and optimize your efforts. Ultimately, the combination of clarity and confidence that comes from action is what transforms dreams into reality. The people who achieve greatness don't wait for all the pieces to be in place. They move forward, adapt, and grow stronger with every step. They know that perfect clarity is a moving target, and confidence grows in the doing, not in the waiting. So if you want to build a strong mindset and create lasting success, commit to consistent, purposeful action. Take the next step, no matter how small, and trust that clarity and confidence will follow. It's in the movement that your vision sharpens, your belief grows, and your destiny unfolds.